A column of infantry had no problem changing direction, but what could they do once they were in line?
A green card, being a little bit better, allows these drilled troops to do rather more. So these drilled archers here with the green can do a wheel. Now, a wheel is an interesting thing in Ancients warfare. It was actually locking one side and gradually moving the troops around. So actually we shouldn't be shuffling them and sliding them. So I'm going to wheel them that way. And what you do to do a wheel is you lock one corner of the unit. So lock this one in position. The sticks are very handy because they're multi-purpose. Because they're the same width, you can use them to find out where you go. And a maximum wheel, the maximum amount of 3 base widths. So this is 3 base widths of movement here. This is the frontage of the unit. We'll take all of those archers and put them there.
Could infantry actually do this? To answer the question, we need to look at 𝘼𝙤𝙘𝙀. 𝘼𝙤𝙀𝙀 was the earliest of the tacticians, the writers of military manuals in antiquity. He describes 2 ways in which an infantry formation could change direction.
Right or left facing then is the movement of the individual men, by spear to the right, and by shield, called in the cavalry, by rein to the left. This takes place when the enemy falls upon the flanks and we wish either to counterattack or else to envelop his wing, that is, overlap the wing of the enemy.
In other circumstances, infantry changed direction by wheeling, and wheeling was done by the syntagma. The Seleucid pike phalanx, ideally 16,384 men strong, was arranged in a line that was usually 16 men deep. The phalanx was subdivided into 2 subunits, which themselves were subdivided into 2 smaller subunits, and so on, until you got to the smallest unit, the 16-man file, or lochos. The syntagma was a subunit with 16 files, and so it was square-shaped. Asclepius describes how it wheeled. It was quite a business.
It is a quarter turn when we close up the entire syntagma by file and rank in the compact formation and move it like the body of one man in such a manner that the entire force swings on the first file leader, as on a pivot, if to the right on the right file leader, and if to the left on the left file leader, and at the same time takes a position in advance and faces by spear, if pivoting right, and by shield, if pivoting left.
Notice that the syntagmata contract before wheeling, so as not to bump into each other during the wheel. Why was it the syntagma that wheeled? Because the line could then form an instant column. This was important. Infantry lines never wheeled as lines. If an infantry line wanted to do anything other than advance straight ahead, it always did it as a column. The Romans did it with a century that had 8 files and 8 to 10 ranks. The Spartans had the Pentecosti with 8 files and 8 to 9 ranks. They used this unit to outflank their enemy's line. In a battle, infantry always wheeled at an angle of 90 degrees. Why was this? A formation of infantry never attacked an enemy formation at an angle. If it did, its file leaders would find themselves spaced out and outnumbered by the enemy file leaders. Their files would become disordered, and the file leaders would no longer have fighting depth. They would be at a serious disadvantage. Formations always attacked directly to the front, flank, or rear. That meant that changing direction was done in 90-degree increments. Anything less wasn't needed. These maneuvers could be done only by professional troops who had the training: Macedonian phalangites, Spartan hoplites, Roman legionaries, Carthaginian pueni infantry, and so on. Other non-professional infantry kept it simple: form a line, charge, fight. It was good enough most of the time, but not against the professionals.